Jai Shri Ram. This could be the GRE essay topic staring at you from the screen once you take the GRE test. Okay, 30 minutes time you have to write an essay. All nations should help support the development of a global university designed to engage students in the process of solving the world's most persistent social problems. Ha ha ha. Anyway, so you have 30 minutes to write on this. Quickly, you should actually use a simple template of questions: who, what, where, when, why, how, and deconstruct the whole topic. To deconstruct means to examine the underlying assumptions. To examine the underlying assumptions. So, why should all nations help? Yeah? Why should we? There are many nations which are so poor and underdeveloping, or just developing. We Indians right now we are developing, not fully developed. So why should we go ahead and support when our universities itself are not running properly? We have enough problems to solve. Now we want to set up a global university. Huh? Maybe other nations should try, which are fully developed, designed to engage students in the process of solving the world's most persistent social problems. Okay, now this is definitely a very good idea, very humanitarian, very altruistic, very philanthropic, wonderful. But our resources are limited. So, with the limited resources, should we first focus on ourselves so that we become self sufficient and independent, achieve autarky? AUTARKY. Autarky means self sufficiency, so that you are not dependent on somebody. So, if our universities are able to produce the best engineers, best teachers, and the best in every profession, then we can have some surplus resources with which we can start going about doing this. Hmm? So that is the counter. What can be in support? Well, that will be wonderful, a global university, so that the world's persistent problems are actually racism and slavery. You might be thinking slavery doesn't exist, it is still there. Bonded labor, misogyny, MISOGYNY, hatred towards women, glass ceiling, discriminatory attitudes towards women and minorities. There are many countries in which women are treated as third class citizens. They don't have voting rights. A woman has to contend herself with four co-wives or five co-wives. If a man can be allowed to have five wives, a woman should be allowed to have five husbands. So that is true equality. And many legislatures worldwide, they don't have sufficient representation, and women are not represented there. So we are promoting a sort of imbalance. Okay, so what are the other persistent problems? Crime, poverty, bigotry, BIGOTRY. If schools, religious schools are there which teach students to look down on the infidels and treat them as very inferior people, and if the holy books are also preaching the same thing, how can we solve the persistent problems in the world when the holy book is preaching lechery, butchery, and treachery? Now, you may not write all that I am saying, but I think you got the idea. So, I think the problems cannot be solved unless the source of the problem is taken care of, the provenance, the genesis. You see, if the infection is in the root, what is the point in treating the leaves? Okay, if there are holy books which are teaching people to look down on the infidel, the unbeliever, call him names which are extremely derogatory and pejorative, and try to proselytize them, and if not, find ways to kill them or eliminate them. So these are extremely violent holy books. So if you do not reform these holy books, how can you expect the world to be a peaceful place? Right? So the persistent problems will continue to persist as long as the source of the infection is not treated. So you have many other problems: crime and child molestation, in fact pedophilia, pederasty. Entire countries are making their businesses by selling sex and gambling. I don't want to name any nations now, but you can in your essay. So these kind of things cannot be solved unless the nations which are promoting all these things are checked. So there have to be sanctions. Okay, so a global university should be able to. You will write one paragraph praising what could be included. You know what could be included in a global curriculum, so that global citizens have to be produced. Davos man, Davos. Davos is the name of a city in Switzerland. So Davos man was the term coined long ago, which means a global citizen. A global citizen is one who is concerned about humanity, which will definitely confer on him the ability to become a great statesman someday. Statesmanship is the highest kind of leadership, where the leader is concerned about the whole of humanity, the welfare of humanity, not just some partisan or parochial objectives which are narrow minded and serving only their clan. Clannish mentalities have to be shed. Tribalism is another problem. You see, there are many people subscribing to many religions who view the others with hatred. Bigotry is a major problem. Bigotry. Bigotry means intolerance. So we have racism. We have all kinds of bigotry, misogyny, misanthropy, crimes, and all these things can be solved if you have a global university which does not shy away from challenging the so-called holy books, which are actually the source of all these persistent social problems. So I leave it to your imagination now. Please write an essay and post it on WhatsApp to me. Write 4 or 5 paragraphs. In one paragraphs, you will talk about why developing and underdeveloped countries should waste their resources on this. One paragraph you will talk about it is the major responsibility of fully developed countries. And you will also mention the concept of the global village. You see, everyone, all the nations, worldwide, are making some contribution to the progress of everyone else. So it should be a common responsibility, and especially the advanced nations should take a greater share. Then the next thing is you will praise the idea and say how it can benefit mankind. And then you will write a paragraph on, let us examine what is the source of these persistent social problems. And then you will talk about holy books, which are actually full of absurdities, and as a result of faith in these kind of absurdities, people are committing atrocities, iniquities, enormities, and all kinds of terrorist activities too. So you will write about that. And well, I think my talk should have given you enough ideas. Now you please write a response, post it on WhatsApp. My number is 891 906 9803. If you write a response, I will read that and give you an audio file as a feedback so that you can make corrections and you meet the criteria. Well, the criteria are broadly GODAV. Grammar, sentences should be grammatically correct. O, organized paragraphs. That means a paragraph should not be too lengthy. Every paragraph should discuss one point. Point, reason, examples, point again. So prep formula. And D means details. That means examples drawn from different disciplines and reasons. Good number of rational, sensible reasons. Never take any extreme position. Okay. And A, addressing the topic. That's the most important criterion. Are you really writing on the topic? Or if you have not understood the topic and if you are going on a tangent, you will not merit any score at all. So addressing the topic, take time to understand what the topic is all about. And vocabulary. So use some good words, at least 5 or 6 good words on which you have sufficient purchase. Try to use them and make sentences. So GODAV is the assessment criteria, and there are 2 professors who will independently assess you, and there is an electronic rater software which will also assess you. You must also use transitional terms or semantic markers, like words like firstly, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, finally, eventually, and contrast indicators like though, although, despite, in spite, nevertheless, nonetheless, albeit, and other transitional words like for example, additionally, in other words. So these are phrases you must use because the software has been designed to give points for usage of these phrases. Right? Jai Shri Ram. Thank you very much.